Okay, after we know that the focus now is shifted toward the context rather than the word itself, now we are going to see how the meaning is broken. Okay, so the meaning is broken into three types of meaning. The first one is linguistic meaning, which means the relationship between different linguistic structures. Nida provides examples to show how the meaning crucially differs even where similar classes of words are used, in accordance with the context, of course. So, if we have a look on the three examples here that all involve the possessive pronoun his, we will notice that the pronoun has a different meaning. The first one, if we say his house, this means he possesses a house. And if we say his journey, this means he performs a journey. And if we say his kindness, this means the kindness is a quality of him. The second one is referential meaning, which simply means that we are going to go directly toward the dictionary meaning. So if we said son, this means a male child. If we said daughter, this means a female child. That's it, simply. The third one is emotive, or also called connotative meaning, which is the associations a word produces. So in the phrase, don't worry about that son, the word son here is a term of either endearment or patronizing. Now we are going to shift to Nida's formal and dynamic equivalence. Formal equivalence for Nida pays attention for the message itself, in both form and content, so it's a text author oriented rather than it's a reader oriented. So it represents the closest equivalence of the source language elements, while dynamic equivalence is based upon the principle of equivalent effect, which means the translation should produce on the target language reader the same effect that the source text produces on its readers, which means that it is a reader oriented, paying much attention on the linguistic and stylistic patterns of the source language at the expense of the message itself. For Nida, the success of the translation depends on the achieving equivalent effect or response. So we have four basic requirements of a translation or a successful translation as Nida describes. These requirements are making sense, conveying the spirit and manner of the original, having a natural and easy form of expression, and producing a similar response, which were the most important of for Nida for a successful translation. Okay, now we are going to move to Newmark, semantic and communicative translation. Newmark feels that the success of equivalent effect is illusory, and that the conflict of loyalties, the gap between emphasis on source and target language, it will always remain as the overriding problem in translation theory and practice. He also suggests to narrow the gap by replacing the old terms with those of semantic and communicative translation. So, communicative translation attempts to produce on its readers an effect as close as possible to that obtained on the readers of the original text, while semantic translation attempts to render as closely as possible the semantic and syntactic structures of the second language, allow the exact contextual meaning of the original. This description of communicative translation resembles Nida's dynamic equivalence in the effect it is trying to create on the target text reader. While semantic translation has similarities to Nida's formal equivalence, however, Newmark distances himself from the full principle of equivalent effect, since that effect is inoperant if the text is out of the target language space and time. We should also keep in mind that Newmark has been criticized for his strong prescriptivism, and the language of his evaluations still bears traces of what he himself called the pre-linguistics era of translation studies. Translations are smooth, or awkward, while translation itself is an art if it was semantic, or a craft if it was communicative. Now we move to Ctford formal and textual equivalence. Formal equivalence for Ctford is any target language category which can be said to occupy the same place in the economy of the target language as the given source language category occupies in the source language. While textual equivalence is any target language text or portion of text which is observed on a particular occasion to be the equivalence of a given source language text or portion of text. Okay, Ctford has let's say the group of shifts who define them as the departures from formal correspondence in the process of going from the source language to the target language. He argues that there are two main types of shifts. The first one is level shifts, and the second one is category shifts. Let's deal with the first one first. Level shifts where the source language item at one linguistic level has a target language equivalent at a different level. For example, to express a progressive aspect in English, one can express it grammatically as she is writing a novel, she has been writing a novel, she will be writing a novel, while in Arabic we will say لا يزال ما يزال في هذه الأثناء أو الآن. The second kind or type of shifts, which is category shifts, is divided into four types: structure shifts, class shifts, unit shifts, and intra-system shifts. Structure shifts involve a grammatical change between the structure of the source language and of the target language. For example, when we have an active voice and change it into a passive voice while translating it. For example, أشارت فتاة كالخرساء بيدها للنافذة المطلة على الحديقة لا تستطيع النطق تبعتها الأخرى ثم الباقيات. If we translate the following into: a girl gestured with her hand at the window overlooking the garden like a dumb person unable to speak. She was followed by another girl, then by others. We notice that she was followed by another girl, then by others is a passive voice, while in the original text it was an active voice. Okay. The second type is the class shift, which occur when a source language item is translated into a target language item which belongs to a different grammatical class. For example, عطشة جاعة سئمة فرحة are best substituted with a linking verb to be, or feel, or become, or get, and so on. The third one is unit shifts, rank shifts, which involves changes in rank, for example, translating a phrase into a sentence. And the final one is intra-system shifts, which occur when the source language and the target language possess systems which correspond formally as to their constitution. For example, when a simple present tense is expressed by show, can be translated into a simple past tense in the target language. So if we have in the original statistic show, we may translate it into أظهرت الإحصائيات, not تظهر. And that's it. Thank you for your time.